Greetings, greetings, everyone. How are you? Hope that everyone is having a great Saturday. I'm going to have to clear my throat a couple of times. Forgive me. I had a rough week. I think I mentioned before, for someone that doesn't talk much, that's the job I have, and I have to do a lot of talking. And unfortunately, it doesn't take much for me to have to clear my throat. I really don't even know the song. I just remember that part
Oh
of it.
my God, Shar, I was just gonna do it. Like that was what I was sitting here singing in the background. Let me clear my throat. Have mercy now. I hope you don't mind. Let me clear my throat. Yeah, no. I got you.
Hey, thank you so much because I didn't know anything past that.
Right?
So thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Happy to oblige. Sorry, I will allow you to continue. I just wanted to help a sister out. All right.
I love it. Thank you so much, and I hope you're doing well as well. Um,
You know what? We're going to be clearing our throat, sisters, tonight. We got it.
okay, we're just gonna tag team. Go, then you'll be your turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, not the coughing. No coughing. Stop it.
Oh no. See?
Depends on
It
how
started
much I
already.
laugh.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll make it through. That's all I can say.
Exactly.
But again, everyone, greetings. Happy Saturday. Hope everything is going well with everyone. And as I was saying, for someone that really doesn't talk much, that's what I have to do for my job. So, hey, stuff happens. It is what it is. Welcome, all you great people. I see you coming on in. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. And tonight we're going to just talk about a few things. What's going on? What's really going on? Because there's some weird stuff out there. And first thing we were going to speak about, which I didn't do my homework. I was supposed to got tied up, but it is what it is. I just had a few thoughts about it anyway, on my own without even knowing all the details. But um, Ruby, you go ahead and give out your greetings, and then we'll get into it if you can.
Sorry, you know what happened was, when you're typing, but then you don't want to lose what you're typing to go to the next screen. So I had to copy it all really quick so I could come back. So
No problem. No
we're good
problem.
now.
Do
We
your
have it
thing.
saved. Okay. Um, but yes, good evening, everyone. I think that the start of December, I mean, you think about it, we always think about Christmas, New Year's, all that's coming up, but the end of a year is coming up. Start of a new year is coming up, and I think that how we decide to end our December makes a big difference in how we're going to start our new year. So, I am interested, very interested, and excited about the topics we're going to bring up over the next few Saturdays because I think it's going to set the tone and the pace for what we're going to be doing in 2020. So, I say that. As always, thank you for having me, Shar. It is always a pleasure. Yeah, I already laughed like what 10 times in the past 2 minutes. So it's going to
What?
be a good Saturday, and it's going to make.
Well, you know,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it is a new show, and you the only one show up. So hey, I got to let you on.
Right? I'm saying you're gonna be happy to see me,
That's right.
right?
I sure
Beggars
appreciate
can't
you.
be choosers. Let's wait till later. We've got a few more people. It's like, oh, Ruby again. God, no.
No, I'm not gonna do that. But I do
No.
appreciate you popping on, and if any of the ladies want to join us, just let us know, and I'll put the link in the chat room. I have no shame in kicking people off, so I don't have to go through all that emailing and stuff.
Mm.
You just will be silent. That's what's gonna happen.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Next few weeks going to be interesting, and how we're going to go into it. And there is already got the catchphrase, if that's what you want to call it, or the theme for next year. Um,
Mm.
I'm on the spot, and it's a shame. I actually have the T-shirt. I actually have the T-shirt, but I'm going to write it down before I actually speak it. I'm going to go into the. We're going to go ahead and get into the topics, and then later on, I'll maybe put it as up on the screen as far as what that theme is for 2020. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So the first thing I was going to mention is this George Zimmerman lawsuit.
Mhm.
I didn't do my due diligence, like I said, as far as researching everything. I got a little busy, but I had just had a few ideas of some things I wanted to say anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But I'll let you begin because I think I sent it to you, so I know you did your thorough investigation. More than likely.
This is me we're talking about. Of course I did. Of course I did. Uh, so, now, of course, I can't imagine one human being on the planet who does not know this, but George Zimmerman is the neighborhood do-gooder who gunned down the innocent, unarmed young man Trayvon Martin back in 2012 because he was black in public, coming home from the store with some candy in a gated neighborhood. He's the one who called the police, and he said, I'm gonna trail him." And they said, "No, no, no, don't do that, sir. It's okay. The police are on their way. They'll take care of it." And he said, "No, I got this. I'm gonna do it anyway." And because of him going against what he was advised to do, because of his clear racism and prejudice against innocent, unarmed young teen boys who have candy in their hands, who are walking in public in, God forbid, a hoodie when it's cold, he murdered that little boy. And then, even though he's not a cop, right? I mean, we hear the story a lot about cops, right? Cops killing our innocent, unarmed young men in the commission of a crime, or because they think there's a crime, or because they're black in public and that's the crime, whatever. But in this case, this is not a cop, okay? And he goes to trial and he's acquitted. They decided he was not guilty of murder and he walked free. Now, that's just a little bit of the background story. Now, obviously, when you murder children and then you get away with it, especially, people are going to be unhappy. They're going to look at you like the piece of human garbage that you are. And they're going to treat you as such. And so, he's a little unhappy that people look at him the way that they should, and they treat him the way that they should. And he's ostracized to an extent the way that he should be. So he's decided between this little documentary that they came out with, claiming that his entire trial and the accusation, whatever, is a hoax. There's now a documentary coming out about that. Along with the showing, the private screening of this documentary, came an announcement from him that he will be suing for over $100 million. Not just the state, not just the courts, not just the police, but he will be suing the parents of the boy, Trayvon Martin, that he murdered. He will be suing them. So that is what's currently. I don't know if I said that clearly enough. So I just want to explain that a white man decided that a black boy who was innocent, unarmed, and not doing anything wrong, he was walking. That's it. He didn't hurt anyone. He wasn't being boisterous. He wasn't confronting people. He wasn't drunk in public. He did nothing wrong at all. This white man, grown man, decided to stalk a young boy. Now he claims, well, there was a fight. Okay, well, let me ask you. If you're 17 years old, you're a skinny boy. It's not like he's a big boy, right? He's a skinny boy, whatever, young, innocent. And there's some man stalking you with venom and hatred in his eyes. And he approaches you and tries to grab you to restrain you till the police come or whatever. And he's not a cop. And he has no reason. Would you believe him? Or would you try to fight to get away because you'd be terrified that some big grown-ass man is trying to hurt you? Which is, that makes sense. So anyway, now that's what happened. He murders this boy. He gets away with murder. And then he decides, well, I don't like the way people see me now that I'm a murderer. So I'm going to sue the parents of the boy that I murdered for the way that society treats me and for them wanting to have sought justice for the murder of their boy. I committed that murder. There's no question that I committed that murder. There's never been a question that I committed that murder. Even in my trial, there wasn't a question that I am the one who killed their boy. And I am now going to sue them for unlawful prosecution and being targeted unfairly and all of this. This is what's really happening. I needed to make that crystal clear. Okay. So,
Very clear. Very
yes,
clear.
yes, right? Black and white. In case you missed it, I had to make sure you understand what's happening. And this is really actually happening. He's not just saying it out loud, for shits and giggles on YouTube. This is what he is really doing to the parents of the boy he murdered.
Yeah, and my thoughts about that is I'm finding that more and more people that are doing the crime, they are suing the victims. And I'm not getting that. Whether they're alive or not, they're suing the families, or if the victim lived, they're suing them.
What?
And why would we reward those who do the wrong thing like that? Why would you go to court? And how would you introduce yourself to the court? Your Honor, I was being vigilant, watching my neighborhood, and I saw the suspicious um, man and a boy, or whatever you want to call him, in a hoodie, and he looked suspicious. I followed him. I called for backup, and this guy, he started at me and everything, and I just, end up having to shoot him. And I went to court and I won. I was found innocent, and now I need to sue the family because it just really messed up my life. So I'm asking for $100 million. Can you please, Your Honor, grant me that so I can start my life over? Because my life I'm having some trouble here. Now, this shouldn't even go to court. I don't know how you would present that. This is just ridiculous. And it's mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, what I did see around YouTube, I guess you would say, that this is laughable. And of course, I'm saying it's laughable anyway, but what judge is going to say, oh, this is the case I want to, yeah, this is a case I want to hear. Oh, yeah, let me put this on my record. Oh, yes, I want to preside over this case. Oh, yeah, this is it. What's really going on with that? Suing the victim.
Mm.
And the other thing I want to point out is that was a very high profile case. And people know about it and everything, but technically it's kind of dead because that was the time to jump on this race thing, in my opinion. If any other time, that was the time. You had a president of color. This young man was of color, and clearly it was a race thing. Why not jump on that? That was your chance if you were going to do it at all. And now to think those parents said, it's not a race thing and all that. Okay, now look what happened. Now what are you going to say? And I don't want to really, bring the parents to the forefront like that, but what I'm really getting at is that was, I guess you would say, our time. That's when we had all cameras on us. And even though the case was lost, we know that was an injustice. We know that. We still could have had some traction out of that. And that's what saddens me. Now, I have to do my due diligence and read some more into that story because I got one of the first stories, those are the ones that I shared with people that I didn't get a chance to read. So I want to check that one out. And then I'll look at some more stories, do a little bit more digging. And
Mm-hmm.
shout out to DJ Music. He's in the chat room. We're going to discuss that on his show Wednesday. And he has an internet radio show, GSRN, Global Sensation Radio. And you can find it online. I put the link in the chat room. If I don't do that, I definitely will put it under the video. But we discussed different topics on his show on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be one of them. So I definitely going to do my homework. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it just saddens me
Yes.
that this is even. I know there's different attorneys. They call them, what is it, ambulance chasers. But what do you call this one? What kind of attorney do you call this? I want to know.
Well, this attorney is the same attorney that was one of the attorneys in the chase to try to prove that Obama was not a natural born citizen and therefore shouldn't be president. He's that exact same attorney. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Okay.
In case you were wondering where he stands on political, social, racial issues, he's
Hmm.
that attorney. Yeah. So now,
Gee.
with that
Okay.
being said, and this is the thing that I can't understand with this, because what they're saying is this. So there was a lot of criticism about Trayvon's girlfriend when he testified during the trial at the time, right? I mean,
Hmm.
she was overweight, people, criticizing her looks and, her attitude and all kinds of stuff, and also her age because she was older. Um, Now, what uh, this lawyer is trying to posit is that she, the one who testified, was not actually Trayvon's girlfriend at the time. She is the cousin of Trayvon's girlfriend, and the real girlfriend was scared or unwilling to testify, and so they made up this whole conspiracy plan to get the cousin to testify in her place instead, and then make up lies as to why the parents thought his girlfriend was younger, why the parents thought the girlfriend looked different, why she didn't actually go to the funeral, all kinds of stuff like that. So that is basically where their big civil prosecution is resting on, right? Now, you said what they're doing a lot is they're going out of the way to try to blame the victim. And the problem is, when it comes to
Hmm.
Black people, they're already doing that before we even get to court. When we have our innocent children, and I'm talking sometimes we could talk about 7 and 8 year olds who are all killed. They try
Hmm.
to paint our children as, they deserved it, as, it was actually someone doing justice for, society by, exterminating this person, um, before details of the crime are even heard, just that they were murdered. The way that they try to paint them, trying to pull that one Facebook picture from Halloween where they dressed up like this 5 years
Hmm.
ago and trying to paint them as being a gangster, a thug, or
Hmm.
violent, or angry, or mean, or, just all the stuff that they do. Whereas in, it's a white victim. That white victim might have been one of the most vicious drug dealers in the land, but they'll find the one picture that if that person took 7 years ago where they look vaguely innocent and then post that everywhere like, oh no, just an innocent clean cut school kid, right? That's what they do for white people. White people, we blame, the assailant, and with Black people we
Hmm.
blame the victim. That's what they're already doing. And for this George Zimmerman thing to even be allowed to go forward is a travesty. But if they allow him to win any aspect of this case, what it's going to do,
Hmm.
um, what it's going to do for us, I think, the way that they see Black people, the way that they treat us. I
Mm.
mean, if we thought that it was damaging that these cops keep getting off for gunning us down for no reason, think about how damaging this is going to be. That the ones who murdered you, it's proven that they absolutely murdered you, but they said, well,
Hmm.
I was scared at the time. They can later, after they're acquitted unfairly, they can
Right.
come back and they can sue the parents of the kid they gunned down. Imagine what that is, the precedent that is setting, and what that's going to be saying to people as far as how they're allowed to treat us. Is that if they gun us down in about 5, 10 years, that is a guaranteed multi-million-dollar payout. That is terrifying. That is terrifying.
That is the
Mhm.
thought of that is,
Mhm.
and that's what bothers me because you're suing the victim.
Mhm.
What is all that about? I mean, you already won. You're not in jail.
Mhm.
So isn't that a victory for you?
Right. Right. Like, and you're king of the racists, right? I'm sure that they gave you your own section of the KKK to rule over. Even like, you're cool. What's your problem? You won. You know. And I want to
Mhm.
hear. I can't wait for the show, because I really want to hear DJ Music's perspective on this now, and how he sees things. I know he's been analyzing society for a while, so I
Yeah.
want to know his take. Where do you think this is, if he gets away with this and he gets to sue any of them and win? What does that mean for what we're going to see in society going forward? Because it's terrifying to me. It really is.
It sure is.
Mhm.
Ooh, Lord have mercy. Well,
Mhm.
enough of that one. Let's
Mhm.
move on to the next subject. Um, let's see. What was the next
I mean, I did a little vent just so everyone knows, because everyone keeps complaining how I don't drop content, because I don't. Let's be real. Every once in a few months, I'll be like, hey, I'm starting again. I swear this time I'm going to post monthly or weekly. And then you don't see anything. Like 6 months goes by. I get it. But I did record a little rant about
Oh,
this whole situation. I did. Um, and so I will be, this is a tiny bit of editing to do. I'm not going to do anything special because it's kind of off of, off brand, but I am going to post it. So, look out for that a little bit later. I think I'm going to do a George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin trilogy. Um, and so the event is going to be part one. That's my plan. So, keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out. I'm telling y'all, y'all need to check out this show though. That
mhm.
DJ Music and Shar does. It is off the chain. Like, it is. It's really really good. Bringing up topics we're not hearing on YouTube. Um, and the perspectives that we're getting. Like, I learned a lot every time I go there. Even while I'm laughing, I'm still learning. So it's really good. Y'all should really check it out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's an honor that he asked me to join him. So I really appreciate that. I'm
Hmm.
having a good time.
Hmm. I can imagine. So now the question is, to brighten the mood a little bit, what you got on the docket for us, Shar? I know you got something. You always got something,
Ha ha ha
and I can
ha.
never guess what it is. So what you got for us today?
Okay. Let me pull it up on, I'm on mute so I can give me a little cough off and then switch screens. Let's see here. Share my screen. I'm getting a little better at it.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's called planning ahead. That's what it's called.
Exactly.
That's what it's called, planning ahead.
Hmm.
All right. All right. That um, woman on the screen there. I'm going to have to make it smaller so I can catch the first sentence. Um, okay. So this is a female judge in Kentucky, and she's been accused of having threesomes in her chambers and allowing employees to get drunk on the job. Family court judge Don Gentry allegedly gave attorneys preferential treatment if they appeased her sexual demands and donated to her campaigns for reelection. The 38-year-old woman, if that's what you want to call it, she is. The 38-year-old has been hit with 9 misconduct charges. According to an investigation by the Kentucky Judicial Conduct Commission, she flirted with attorneys over Snapchat, put pressure on them to sleep with her, and in one case asked a female attorney to join her in a threesome with her former church pastor turned lover. What's really going on? On one occasion, she and a former pastor are said to have a threesome with her secretary. Gentry serves as a family court, that's with laughter, judge for Kenton County, which is south of the Kentucky-Ohio state line near Cincinnati. Okay, I don't know what's going on with these folks, with these, I guess people are people. They always look at people and they have titles and they have to study hard and do all these type of things to get these jobs and make a lot of money. I always look at it like you did all of that to look foolish later, but people are people. They do all kind of things. I don't know what's going on. She got some fetishes. She need to do that privately. This Snapchat. Now we know Snapchat is a social media um, application. Why do people always have to use these things to for attention? I mean, that's what gets you caught most of the time. Most of the time, I mean, call somebody up. Say, hey, what's up? What you doing tonight? You want to have a little fun or whatever you're gonna do. But why you have to use things where it can come back to you and bite you in the butt? And well, we do know a lot of times these people don't even lose their jobs, and they definitely don't lose their pension. But this woman, and she's considered young as far as a judge is concerned. Why? Why do these people do this? Why? What's wrong with these people? Please tell me what's wrong with them.
You know what? And now I'm gonna say disclaimer. I understand that what I'm about to say is going to reflect the rhetoric of a particular group, but it can't be helped in the fact that this no accountability femininity era is largely to blame. I think that when feminism ideals are bastardized, and so what ends up getting taught to people is you can have your cake and eat it too, that there are no consequences for your actions, that your actions are protected and okay and valid because you are a woman, and being a woman in and of itself makes everything you do socially acceptable and protected and okay. I think you don't learn, not necessarily the
Mm-hmm.
difference between right and wrong. You learn the difference between right and wrong. You just don't necessarily learn everything that's wrong. Um, because you're not being chastised and you're not really having to face the severe consequences of your
Mm-hmm.
smaller actions. So, it's kind of like no one goes and right away starts at these crazy extremes, right? You don't start at the crazy extreme. You start over here with a little thing. You violate a little social norm. And then, there's no consequences for it. In fact, if anything, maybe you're praised. And so you go, okay, well, I'll violate another little one. And you keep taking baby steps towards the insanity. And every step along the way, there are no consequences for your actions. Maybe you're praised by friends who know that you've done these things. And so you keep taking the next leap because it seems like this is normal and it's okay behavior. Nothing in society, in the media, in your friend groups, in your family, no one's telling you that you're wrong. So you're not socialized to believe that you're wrong. I honestly think that's what it is. So they're blind, right? Because she's not old. She's not some old woman. She's young, you know. And I think she's young. She's right in that era where she just caught it, and no one told her, no one slapped her down, no one made her feel like, okay, well, you want to do man stuff, you get man consequences. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
not that I'm saying being a judge or working is man necessarily, but the point is that it's employment on the greater scale with everyone. If roles reverse, if a man were to do this at work, would it be wrong? Would it be justifiable? Oh, no, it would be terrible. Why would it be terrible? Okay, well, for the same reasons it would be terrible for the man to do it, it would be
Mm-hmm.
terrible if you do it as a woman. We have to understand that the hypocrisy is not okay. So the hypocrisy is not okay. If a man shouldn't do it, you shouldn't do it. You're trying to say, well, just because a man can do it, I should be able to do it too. All right, I accept that, as long as you accept the fact that if a man can't do it, neither can you.
And definitely accept your consequences,
Yes,
if
yes.
nothing else. And when I looked at that, I started to just ignore it. But I said no, I wanted to bring it up
Mhm.
because I mean, again, well, 38-year-old, and she's been in a judge for a while. This is young, and how did you end up with the pastor of a church? How did it get that far? What? What? I mean, he was your pastor, then he's your former pastor, and now a lover? This woman got 9 counts. I mean, whatever's been going on, it's been going on for a while.
Mhm.
Um, you may want to seek some help, lady. You need, you need some help. That's just not normal.
It,
It's
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 it's really
you need
not.
some help, lady. That's all I can say. You need some help. You're trying to help other people.
Mhm.
Get some help. If you got to hide and sneak and duck and all that, more than likely it's wrong. That's where I was looking at. You got to hide, sneak, duck. More than likely it's wrong. If you're not
Mhm.
um, putting together a surprise party, trying to hide, sneak, and duck, then anything outside of that normally, besides popping a question, um, other than that, it might be wrong.
Hmm.
99.9%. Yeah, it might be wrong if you sneaking, hiding, and ducking. So
Mhm.
just think about that and stop
Right.
using social media.
Yes.
Why I'm looking for some pictures to come up. She got some stuff going on under that robe. I'm telling you, it's more to the story.
Mm.
Watch and see.
Mm.
I
You know,
can't get past the church though.
oh,
The former church pastor.
well, former, for a reason. Okay. Uh, you know,
I can't
you know,
get past it.
another thing, if you think about it, though, right? And I'm gonna take out a scenario where this does happen, not to this extent, because I already explained why to this extent anything's happening, but
Hmm.
so to be as successful as she is at such a young age, that takes an incredibly restrained, I'm going to say almost type A personality, especially for women, because it would, for women, involve pushing a lot of, more emotional driven stuff
Hmm.
aside in favor of, the competition and in favor of, achievement. So I think when a lot of these little type A kids, the ones who have always been good, they've never broken the rules because they can't afford to break the rules because they're trying to get
True.
to something. Right? I'm trying to get into Harvard. I'm trying to get here. I'm trying to get here. You can't ruin or deviate off the path, or one misstep and that's it. You lose everything you've been working for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, however long. Um, I think that when they finally get somewhere where they can breathe, it's like almost like they're reliving their youth again, because they finally get to
Hmm.
breathe, they can finally relax, they can finally untense that muscle. They didn't make the mistakes that most people did in their teen years and college years because they understood that they couldn't afford to if they wanted to get where they wanted to get, but now they got there. So now it's like, man, I missed out on life. Everyone else has these crazy stories of what they did when they were 18 or 16 or 21 or whatever, and they don't have those stories. And I think it makes you almost like rebel or go the opposite direction, and you feel the need to compensate out your little perfect virginal virtuous life, and you need to go so far the other way so you can talk about the fact that you've been crazy too. You're not a prude, you're not a stick in the mud. Like, you can have fun, you can be wild, you know what I mean, like that kind
Right.
of thing, because it could be that too, it could be that too.
Yeah, it could be.
Sure, it doesn't. See, whenever Shar says anything in that tone of voice, believe the opposite of whatever she just said. Yeah, it could be. Does she say that's bullshit, Ruby? That ain't it. That's what she's saying, right? But she won't say that. She's too polite, so she's gonna say what she just said. But I'm telling you, that's what she's saying. Translation.
No, it could be.
I got the automatic Shar translator in my head. I already know.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. See?
Okay.
Throat cleared.
Let me clear my throat. Wow, that's too much. But I'm gonna
Mhm.
let me see. I think I'm gonna leave that one alone. Go to the next one.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here.
Mm, 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 mm.
Work
I
it
know it's gonna be
out.
something good. I know.
Let me see. Let me see what I got. Let's
Oh, and I just want to say also, what's up? I see
see.
there's some ladies up in the chat today. Uh, got lots of ladies out tonight, and I really appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming out. I've tried to say hi to all of y'all in the chat and whatever, but it's great. Even if y'all don't want to come up on the panel today, it's great that we have y'all in the audience today at least. Because
Yeah.
ladies' participation is very important on a ladies' channel. So.
Yeah, we do truly appreciate your support. Um, and I look at support as all different ways. You're supporting the chat room, talking, supporting the channel financially, lending your voice with your opinions. All
Mhm.
those things are support. Giving a thumbs up. That it's all support to me. So I really do appreciate that.
Yes. Definitely.
All right, pull up my next one. And this one has really shocked me and angered me all at the same time.
Mm.
Okay, let me see what it looks like on the shared screen. Oh, okay, that's good enough. You can see it. Ex-police, ex-Chicago police commander spared prison for collecting dead moms' Social Security checks for years.
What?
Okay,
Okay.
I'm not even gonna read this whole story. I just wrote a couple of clips. It's enough said. Okay, this man, mom, passed away, and he decided to continue to keep collecting her Social Security checks. Would you like to know how long this man has been doing that?
Yes, please.
23 years.
Wow.
That is a couple of decades. This man has been collecting his deceased mother Social Security checks.
Wow. Police commander. He's a police commander for
Ah,
decades.
you know, okay. Again, he was a police commander and got a chance to retire and get a pension. Here we go again. Someone else that worked hard to get a position and doing these things because this is a federal crime.
Wow.
You took money from the government. And guess what? You get no jail time. None.
What?
Now, he pleaded guilty. His mom passed away in 1994. Was anyone not born by yeah, you guys all 20. Okay. 1994.
Mm.
Some of you all were teens. Weren't even teens in this chat room. And this man's been collecting his dead mom's checks. I mean, just think, month after month, he sees her name and he collects it for 23 years. What's what's really going on? He pleaded guilty. That's good. Okay. Thank you. What do you want? A cookie? And the total amount was $336,000. What's the chances of him being able to pay this back? He's 55 years old. He's been doing this since he was 32 years old.
Wow.
Think about that. You're in your 30s. Your mom passed away. You keep collecting her checks. The rest of your 30s, all your 40s, and a few years in your 50s until you got caught.
Hmm.
What's really going on?
What?
Now he does
That's
have a
ballsy.
felony. They gave him a felony conviction. Conviction. Ooh, finally put something on his record. But he
Right.
got away with this because he's only doing 2 years of probation, and 6 months of that is going to be community confinement, like a Salvation Army. So he's going to have to get up in the morning, certain times, sweep, mop, you know, drink the bad coffee, and then he'd probably be at home the other year and a half. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mhm. Mhm.
Excuse me.
Wow.
23 years,
23.
over 2 decades. And he has to, and the thing is, because his felony is not related to his duties as far as what his job was, he gets to keep it, and they're going to take a percentage out. And they didn't even say what the percentage was. They're going to take a percentage out his pension until the money is recouped. Yeah, right.
Mhm.
How are you going to do that?
Exactly.
Now, what I would do
Exactly.
if I was the judge, I would take, um, however, let me see. Since he did this for 23 years, I would give him at least 23 months behind bars.
Mhm.
I would give him that at least. And then as far as paying the money back, yeah, I wouldn't take his pension or none. You keep that because we're going to recoup that. We need to take most of that. And I do mean most of it because you need to pay that money back, not some of it, just a little. No, you need to pay all that money back. So
Mhm.
we're going to take, I don't know what he gets, but I'm sure it was a nice little sum, whatever he gets. But he definitely be paying the next 15 years the way I would calculate that and take that out of his check. He gonna feel it.
Mm. Mhm.
He will feel it. Can you feel it? Yes, he
Now
will.
this is interesting. So 'cause I was looking into it, right? So there's a woman who was just the other day sentenced to a year in prison for collecting money for her children, Social Security money for her children that she currently does not have custody of, for about a year. And she was given a year in jail. She has to pay it back. So I'm like, okay, so they do send people to prison for this. But then I started looking a little bit deeper here, and I'm seeing that for this particular crime, it seems like what they do is basically put you on probation and say you owe us back the money. And that's about it. And it looks like people are saying, well, you never should have sent the money in the first place. There's a death certificate. I didn't hide the person's death. You just kept sending the money. That's what it is. It's not like, well, I hid the fact that my mama died by burying her in my backyard to fool everybody. Like, nah, we had a funeral, got the death certificate, everything. You kept sending the money. I kept cashing the checks. I don't know what to tell you. Um, and so there was a bill passed, apparently. Um, Hold on, where's the name of this bill? I have to look for the name of it. There's a bill act is called the Stopping Improper Payments to Deceased People Act.
Mm.
Kennedy and Senator Tom Carper introduced the Stopping Improper Payments to Deceased People Act. That's how often this is happening. So I think the reason why they're not putting people in prison is because it happens too much. Um, as they do not have a proper communication between all the different sectors of the government. so that if
Mm-hmm.
you don't do the thing you're supposed to do, which is when you receive the check in the mail, put it back in the mail as return to sender. That's there. Because I thought maybe it's complicated to discontinue it, but apparently it's not. That's all you have to do. They'll discontinue the checks right there. Let's put a hold on it. They'll stop sending it. But that's what they're relying on. That is to say, if you never contact them, they'll never know. These branches of the government, the one that knows that your mother died, is not speaking to the one that pays your mother money. You're responsible for letting them know. So I think that in that case, then a lot of people, this is not a rare occurrence where people just keep collecting the check for a minute. Now, the police commissioner, we expect the police commissioner obviously to be above the rest of us in our shady ass selves, right? Like, as in, you're supposed to be upholding the law. So you should also, uphold the law literally in your own life, be a good model and example. Now, that is true. But I will say this. So, from the picture that you showed, the police commissioner we're talking about is black, right?
Yeah.
So, every story I read, other than this one, has been about white people. And
Uh-huh.
none of them go to jail. They get a year or two of probation and they got to pay the money back. So, as much as I'm not okay with what the guy did, I am okay with him not going to jail. And the reason why,
Mm-hmm.
it's not because of the crime. It's because normally what happens is when we commit crime, just like white people do, in the same way white people do, we go to jail for 50 years, they get a year of probation, right? So I'm kind of okay in this case. At least they delivered the law fairly, and the rules that would have applied to the rest of society got to apply to us for once, where we're not going to put him in jail, set an example for him particularly. We're not going to do all this extra. We're just going to treat him the way we treat everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a white police commissioner, we for sure wouldn't have put him in jail. So we're for sure not putting this one in jail. I appreciate that aspect of the story. I can't
Yeah.
lie and
Mm-hmm.
say I don't care. No, I'm happy about that part. So that's why I went and checked. I went and checked before I said some extra ignorant stuff, and I didn't even know. No, I went and checked because I wanted to be sure that no, it would have been treating us equally and fairly to not imprison us. And if they want to start making an example of this, then I think what they should do is, they should make a big deal about it right now, like verbally, and then anyone new who starts or
Mm-hmm.
people who continue past this time, then they should start making examples of people. And I think the first people they should make examples of are white people, because white people are the ones who tend to commit federal crimes more often, for being real. So white collar crimes. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to slap people on the wrist and tell people that they shouldn't be able to do it, you should start with that group.
Well, I definitely agree that with you about him not doing time if this is the usual punishment. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. And when he got caught, it was 2017, and that's when they started communicating with each other, the, the different places. But also, one thing I do know, if he was it's not called caretaker. I forgot what it's called. If he had any type of, if he was a caretaker, I just use that term. Then there's a form you have to fill out every year, stating that you um, use the money properly for that person's expenses. Now, I don't know if that was the situation or
Mm,
not. I really don't know. Um, but he had to do something to get those checks because if she died and they're not in the same house, um, where do those checks go? Did you show
mm,
up to that address and grab it out the mailbox? Because it wasn't digitally. That much I do know. So that's a
mm-hmm.
lot of work, and you had a lot of time and years to think about not doing it anymore. You really did,
It's
and he didn't
true.
do that.
And you know what? It's And you said something, and Harris asked us in the chat as well. It's a point about it being digital versus paper. Now, what if it was digital though? Because in that case, right? So if the way you're supposed to stop this is by returning the check to sender, and everything is direct deposited, let's say, because I don't know if you can direct deposit these checks or not. And I guess that would be an interesting question to look into and see if we can, because if you can, how do you stop the payments then? Like, who do you contact to stop the payments? Okay, if you're supposed to fill out the form yearly and you keep filling out the form like you're taking care of somebody, you're wrong. But you might not have had that status. You might not have had power of attorney, or you might have had limited power of attorney in some cases, or whatever the case is. So I guess I'm sure it's a more complicated thing where we can't paint each person with the individual strokes, but it comes down to, and I wonder if anyone knows, how would you stop it if it's direct deposit? Maybe there's too much confusion. Maybe there's not enough clear rules. You might know that morally it's wrong to do this, but I mean, are there enough clear rules about what to do in these cases? I mean, if it's a parent, for example, probably devastated, your parent just died, you're devastated, you've got a million things to take care of, you know what I mean? Uh, Probably some of their financial stuff to take care of too. The check comes, you probably initially are using that money to clear up their stuff, and to get their stuff all in order. You know what I mean? Maybe paying back for the funeral, stuff like that. You're probably initially not trying to use it to, make your life a better place as much as, you really are using it towards their affairs. Is that justified? Are you allowed to collect that check for a period of time after they die to help clear up their affairs? Like, I think that the fact that there's confusion
Hmm.
on any level means that they haven't done a good enough job informing the public of what the rules and regulations and laws are around these things. They make sure to do it around child support and welfare, so they should do it when it comes to these aspects of social welfare as well, and social checks, security, that nature.
Okay, I like that.
Mhm.
Um, well, he was doing wrong. That
Oh
was
yeah,
clear.
no, he knew.
But
He's police commander. He knows everything about everything. No, he's dead wrong. I was just saying.
yeah, I agree. He definitely knows. Um, but I would make a skit out of this one. I would have it where he shows up at the family barbecue and everybody, walk past, look at him, and shake their head, especially if he has, other siblings. Like, how
Mhm.
could you do that to mama? You taking her money? Man, you showing up at every family reunion stuff and you spending mama's money? And she was dead. It really wasn't even her money. How could you do this, man?
Mm.
But but yeah, there should be some embarrassment, not just to those that he served with, but served work with, but just his family. And even
Mhm.
that. What about his children?
Mhm.
How did all his children feel about this? I don't know about his wife. I'm sure he has some children, but man, they look at dad like, man, dad, what was up with that? Did that to grandma?
Mhm.
That was cold.
Mhm. Yep. And I mean, that leads to a conversation. Now, when we talk about things like legacy, right? We talk about legacy, well, the legacy that we're leaving for our children. And a lot of times we more think about wealth and what we own to pass down to them. But
Hmm.
your reputation is part of your legacy that you're passing down, that you're leaving for them, that you are attaching to them. Um, you
Yeah.
know, you think about how devastating it probably was, these kids who walk around feeling amazing. Their dad was, probably one of the first black police chiefs, in their city, the state, whatever, and feeling great, feeling a great sense of pride about that. And then this story comes out. now this is how everyone knows your father. This is now how, so all of those
Hmm.
years of good that he actually did for the community, maybe, all of that amazing reputation he built, all of that means nothing now, because now, you know, he did this. He's a fraud. And that's what the name that's going to go down, and that your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids. So now, if we talk about the police commander in our family, and you guys decide you want to go look up great grandpa or great great grandpa or great 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 grandpa, because it's the internet now, so everything's out there automatically all connected together. When they look that up, they look up family tree information, whatever, this is what's going to come up. That's the legacy you're passing down. So, when we think so selfishly about our actions today
Hmm.
and how it impacts or benefits our lives today, we need to recognize and start trying to think about, but how is it impacting my legacy for tomorrow?
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
We're supposed to be the examples. We're really supposed to be that to our children, to others. But it's unfortunate that greed really gets a hold of us at times.
Yes. Hmm. Money is the worst god to serve. Like, that's just real. Money is the worst god to serve, and that is what people are doing. Instead of money being a thing, a tool, a provision, almost, it becomes a god. It becomes the thing. You don't even necessarily care about things you could buy anymore. You care about the accumulation of money for money itself. Um, you're accumulating the things to prove how much money you have. You're moving to the nice neighborhood and getting the big house and whatever to prove money. It's all
Hmm.
about money. It's no longer about what the money is getting you, and the quality of life, the quality of, again, legacy that you can provide. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's about being able to prove how much money you got, how much you got it, how much you can keep up with the Joneses. Like, this is not a good way to run your whole life and your whole world.
Yeah, appearances,
Right. Exactly.
appearances.
Mhm.
What I look like
Mm.
on the outside, jacked up on the inside, but what I look like on the outside.
Right? Nicest car in the block. You got this car is amazing. You drive around the city, people look at this car. I'll never forget, Shar, because I didn't know this. It's not a phenomenon that you see here, or Jamaican population so much. So I wasn't familiar with it until America, really. And so you see some people, some amazing cars. You go into that car, like, man, that car smells like money inside. Never mind the looks, inside and out. It's the most beautiful car you've ever seen in your life. They're like, okay, we just gotta stop by my house quick to pick something up. So you're like, all right, cool. So right, so now we all pull up to this house, and this house that literally damn near has holes in the wall, in the roof. You go inside, there are roaches bigger than my head running around the wall. Oh, don't worry, we call that one Fred. Don't worry, he won't bother you. You don't bother him. And you're like, you you're,
Uh-uh.
you're naming your mutant roaches that run around in your house?
Uh-uh.
Okay. Right? It's just like, they're okay with that, though. They're okay with living in unimaginable conditions inside their house, because they don't really let people up in their house anyway. They don't care. They got the new Jordans. Their clothes are fresh to death. Their cars fresh to
Hmm.
death. And that's the thing everyone's judging them on, what they go outside. They don't care if they have to come home and sleep in literally moldy, pest-ridden conditions, as long as everyone thinks that they got it going on because of their clothing and their car. Like, that is not, those are called backwards priorities. 100%.
I remember having a friend that was living in the projects. And so now I'm invited to go to my friend's house. And she said, well, I don't live, excuse me. She said, I don't live in the high rises. I live in what do you call it? Row houses. And that's a big difference, a huge difference. So What I noticed, I go by there, and I don't know if I was driving or she was driving. I don't remember who had a car at the time. And what I noticed is the people had cable. So I'm 19 years old thinking to myself, okay, so if you live in the projects because you really don't have much money, how can you afford to get cable? And I used to just sit there in the car waiting for, thinking about this. Like, how do these people have cable, but they poor? I
Mhm.
used to just scratch my head about that. But that's what came to my mind when we was talking about the fact of, on the outside, what it looks like on the outside. But people do showboat, and I find a lot of those people are not at peace. That's another thing. They are not at peace.
Mm-mm. Of course not. How could you be?
I've yet to find anyone at peace that's like that. They'll usually if it's a man, he's like, "Yeah, man, check this out. Yeah, check my wheels out," or however he wants to talk. "Yeah, man, I'm riding high. Check this out." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay." Thinking to myself, "Okay, now what we supposed to do now? Celebrate?"
Right. Mhm. Mhm.
I seen that gas hand, so I don't
Right?
think you should celebrate too high. And I
Let's
used to
not go
do
too
that.
far.
Yeah, I used to just look, at the guys and stuff.
Mm. Mhm.
And I look at that gas hand, and they never was at half. They were always had like a quarter tank or even less.
Right.
Normally closer to the E. That's normally
Oh
how it
yeah.
was.
Oh
Because
yeah.
the cars now, when you turn it off, it still tell you what you have. But the older cars back in the 80s, you turn it off, the gas gauge goes all the way down. So you
Mhm.
actually don't know until you turn the car on how much you really
Mhm.
have in the car.
Yep. Yep. These guys who they know exactly how long they can drive when the gas light itself comes on because it's been at that E for so long. They know exactly how far they can drive with that gas light on because that's how they stay driving. And they will put $3.45 of gas into their car and bring you with them to the mall so they can go buy the new Jordans, that are hundreds of dollars, right? Just $300, $400. They're gonna go buy $300 shoes, but they don't got any money for gas. They just put 345 because they know that that's going to get them to the mall to
Uh-huh.
drop you off and back home. And then they'll worry about gas and how to get to work next week. That's tomorrow's problem. Today, $300 Jordans. Wait, hold on. Are you trying to say that the Jordans could pay for gas for 3 months? Oh, sorry, my bad. I guess that's how I would have thought. Maybe I need to get to work more than I need really fly shoes to sit on my couch unemployed in. I don't know. That's just me though. I guess my priorities are messed up according to the 21st century, but that's the way I would think. But see, I'm okay. I'm okay if you're in struggle life, right? Because I've been in struggle life. My mom was in struggle life when I was a kid. So
Hmm.
that's why I know the gaslight thing, and I know you know how long you last on that gaslight because I used to know, right? Because that's where you're at right now. That's what I can afford. Can't go fill my tank for no good reason right now. I gotta eat, but I was not spending, right? But I'm not gonna go sit there and go buy something for hundreds of dollars when I'm sitting there measuring my gas by exactly how much I'm gonna need for the week. That's not reasonable. And my priorities would never be to go and buy a Mercedes or something while I can't afford the gas or the
Hmm.
insurance. Can't afford to exterminate the roaches from my house. Can't afford to actually have electricity this month, but I gotta be rolling around in a Mercedes. To me, this is ridiculous. This is this is not logical thinking. Like I would rather just have my little beat up. My first car was in 1994 Geo Metro. I did not get the car in 1994. To be clear, it was 2003. Um, and my little 1994 Geo Metro. Call it my tinfoil car, because I swear to God that thing could get dented from you just slapping the hood
Oh
lightly with your
wow.
hand. I'm telling you, it was made out of aluminum foil. But I loved that car, and it was amazing on gas. And the point is I wasn't on the bus. The point is I could get from A to B on my time.
Hmm.
Right. The point is that for $20 gas, I could drive for almost 2 weeks. That's how great it
Oh.
was on gas, because it was made out of aluminum foil, so it was really light, right? Um, that makes it a very dangerous car to drive in the winter because it skids really easily. But I would go out every year and practice, and I knew exactly how to skid my car just right so no one died. So it was good. Right? But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm okay with that, because to me, my priority is not how cool you think my car is. Because to
Hmm.
me, the car is not the priority. The car is a vehicle to get me from where I am now to where I need to get to. Um,
Hmm.
so I can accomplish the things I need to accomplish, whether it's earning money, whether it's earning my degree, whether it's whatever it is, even if it's hanging out with friends. I would rather have the money to sit down in a fancy little coffee shop with my friends and blow extra dough on foolishness, than say, yeah, but I got my pretty little Mercedes, but I can't afford to put gas in it to get anywhere, right? My 1994 Geo, I could get everywhere. I was good. I could afford the little perks in life, and I could afford to save too, and I could afford to pay my bills.
Hmm.
Um, I think we need to seriously adjust our priorities here. Stop trying to live outside of our means, because if police commander over there, who makes way more than the average cop, um, would have adjusted his priorities and adjusted his cost of living. Let's say, don't live outside your means. You can't afford it, don't get it. Um, then he probably would have been okay with just letting them know, hey, my mama died, stop sending me these checks, please, and following the law like he's supposed to be upholding it. And he wouldn't be in this position where now, after years of being a public servant,
Yeah.
protecting the law, he is now a felon, like the
Yeah.
people he used to chase down over
Yeah.
money. Yep, that's it. Over
That's
money.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Pension and a felony.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to go out.
Right? Damn. All right then. You do you.
Still trying to get that pension, but hey, that's just me.
Mhm.
I also want to mention that the music has to be loud. You got to remember that too when it comes down to driving a car on empty. Like, the music has to be bumping because you got to have everyone to not just see your car, they must
Mhm.
hear it too.
Oh yeah. Well, because they have to hear the new speakers and the $3,000 sound system that you have installed into this car that you can't afford.
Oh
They
yeah,
they
that
need to
sits
know.
outside. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, come
Keyword
on.
outside,
Outside.
not a
Outside.
garage. Outside.
Right? Outside and uninsured, because you can't afford the insurance on the Mercedes, because the insurance is a lot more expensive, and you couldn't afford basic insurance for the 1998 Corolla.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. So I don't know. Like,
Mm. We got to do better. We got
right?
to do better, people. We got to do better.
I swear. I swear.
And I put in the for the year 2020 is the year of examples and incentives, and that is something that Cerulli Gray had mentioned. I think he mentioned on one of his streams in October, I think.
Mm.
And if it wasn't October, it was late September, and I thought it was just great.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay. So I love that theme for
Yes.
2020, and I even ordered me a T-shirt. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I ordered me a T-shirt with that saying on it. I think it's great, and I will be using that.
That is amazing. I love it. I love it. I mean, obviously, I love what Cerulean's come up with as far as what 2020 is. I was just saying earlier in the year, earlier in the stream, right? We got to set ourselves up this month, um, so that way our 2020 is moving in the way we want it to go. And I think examples and incentives is definitely a good foot forward. And I love the fact that you thought to make it into a t-shirt. That's awesome. That is awesome. Hmm.
Yeah, DMV Nitro. I just went online and created it for myself. Um, and the coupon, I think it's about $10. Um,
Hmm.
let's see if I can find the code real quick, and you can check it out. I think it ends tonight because they're 60% off the t-shirts. And let me see, I got my code. I think it was last Saturday or Sunday, and I designed it, and I got it in the mail actually today.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's cool. And you like it? It's good quality?
I do, and they have several types. You can get the thinner shirt, or you
Hmm.
get the thicker one. So you can get it in a sweatshirt, hoodie, t-shirt, tank top, just whatever they offer. You can just go right on ahead and order it, and design how you want, whatever color, all of that. I got the
Nice.
coupon code. What is the screen? Oh, there it is. All right.
Okay. That is super cool. Like I always thought to myself, and I want to. It's on my list of things that I'd like to do, but that list is very long, so don't expect it anytime soon. But I would really like to actually learn how to silk screen and start a silk screening business. But like, I want to start it literally for smaller YouTubers. Um,
Hmm.
because what I noticed is, right, so with Teespring, like you can kind of you pick some designs and then you get a small percentage of the t-shirts and you have to maybe make really big orders in order for you to save and whatever. And
Yeah.
what I would love, first of all, I've always hated the fact the only thing you can really get are t-shirts, just really plain t-shirts and or hoodies.
Hmm.
Like, I like the idea of being able to do different types of things, like maybe some jeans or whatever.
Okay.
Um, or the idea of being able to, for a small um, up fee or whatever, like, hey, I'm gonna send you this and print it on that, and then send it back to me. That kind of stuff. Like I've always liked those ideas. So that was one part. But the second part was like, hey, if now you couldn't come up with a million of these ideas, but if you said, hey, listen, I got a couple ideas that I would like to offer this as an option and whatever. And I would take a fee obviously for doing it. It would be a lot smaller than I think even the Teespring store. And they wouldn't have to order in massive bulk, because it would ultimately be coming from my store. So do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I've always wanted to do that for smaller. Initially, it was started with the idea of smaller blogs and stuff like that. But smaller YouTubers, us
Hmm.
being able to kind of all help one another out in a way with that. So I would love to silkscreen. What I was doing before, because I've made T-shirts. I made T-shirts for myself. I'd make them at home for Classic Ruby back before I was a YouTuber when I was blogging. And actually, I've been on a couple of things. Like I was on this TV show once, and everyone who came with me was wearing a Classic Ruby T-shirt. I did a bunch of different designs just advertising
Cool.
Classic Ruby. Yeah, I wasn't even trying to sell the T-shirts. It was literally just to promote my blog. Um, and I made a different design for like all six people, and we were all in a Classic Ruby T-shirt and stuff like that. But like, it wasn't like the silk screen kind of ones where you could wash them 100 times in the hold up.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's like the iron on stuff. So the iron on ones, if you're gonna use the iron on, where you print it from your printer, like you put in your printer, you print whatever the image is onto that, and then you literally iron it onto the shirt, and then boom, now you've got your little symbol. But if you're gonna get the one that's made for dark colors,
Hmm.
that does not hold up well. Like literally, if you wash it, like it starts fading it right away. Um, the one for light colors is a little bit more, I'll say, lasting. but still, it's nothing like the silk screen ones. Like, it's nothing like the quality of what you received, right? So
Okay.
that's why I've always wanted to get into the silk screening, because it's like it's way more like permanent and durable, like some good stuff. You could tell it's not the cheap, it's the good stuff. So yeah. But I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
if people want it, if you want like a temporary shirt, you just want to make something real quick.
Uh-huh.
You don't care if it lasts past tomorrow and whatever. You can go into like any one of those arts and crafts type stores. I don't know if y'all have a Michaels
Oh
there.
yeah, we have Michaels. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Michaels for sure sells it. Um, and they're literally iron on. I can't remember what the word is. Like, not iron on decals, but um, someone design, it's like design your own t-shirt or whatever, and there's a bunch of different brands, and basically you buy like the printer paper, and let's say there's like 5 or 10 sheets in there, and then you can just print it off on your computer yourself and iron it on, follow the instructions as they tell you how to set up the picture before you print it, and iron it on for the night, and it's a cool effect for one night. It probably ain't gonna last you like more than that night. That's all.
Oh, okay. Wow.
hmm
Hmm. Okay.
yeah,
Being Nitro, he's sold.
there you go.
He is sold.
I would like to see your t-shirt. When do we get to see this new t-shirt of yours? This slogan.
Well, I guess 2020.
Oh, we gotta wait all the way to then. We don't get a preview first. Oh, oh, come on, right? Half of us are like, yeah, but I want to see Char's product before I order my own. So, like,
I hear you.
mm.
Yeah, I might be a sneak peek.
Oh, ooh. All right then. All right. So y'all heard it here. You're gonna have to tune in weekly, and maybe if you're here when she does it, you'll see the sneak peek. And if you miss it, you miss it. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll show it. Cool.
mm-hmm.
Oh, Poetic Kales, you come right at the end. Wah, wah,
Oh,
wah. There's just
oh.
never a good time for her. Either it's too early, she's eating, she's driving, she's snoring, she's crying. Something.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Oh, well, maybe
But
next
we
time.
love you anyway, poetic cows. So
That's right. Much love
mhm.
to you.
Better late than never. Better late than
That,
never.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
You get a chance to come in for our closing, which is our
Yay. Okay.
favorite segment, our judge and the jury segment.
Yay.
It's
Okay.
not that dramatic this time, but
Oh, that's what she said. I don't
he said,
believe you. I'm about to see this. I don't believe you. You'll say that and it'll be like, what the hell? Okay, go ahead.
"No, for real, it really isn't." But
Okay.
anyway, I will share. And this is the judge and jury segment portion of it. And as you see, why this man decided to tweet himself like this, I have no idea. Um,
Wow.
this is the President of the United States.
Wow.
And this is what he's decided to tweet himself as.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
I don't know what was going on with the 45th President of the United States of America. I really don't know.
wow.
Um, and that's all I can say. I don't know really what was going on
This is so stupid.
here.
Why? Why?
I, I just don't know. I don't know why. I, I don't know why.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? We got to go back to the beginning and blame Arnold Schwarzenegger for opening up the doors to what we would think of as caricatures of some sort or another in movies and TV, being able to be taken seriously as political people. Now, in all fairness to Arnold, he did it right. But I remember the initial transition where, it was a lot of clownery, especially, from the outside looking in, because, dude, he's Terminator. I don't believe you. Like, I can't. You're going to say, I'll be back at the end of every speech? Like, I'm so confused here, right? Like,
Right.
now, was that unfair? Maybe. Was it strange to me that he's not American, but he's an American politician? Yes, but cool. Do you, boo? But now you've got this TV persona, because that's the between being a, I mean, he's a failed businessman, turned TV persona, in the hopes to make some of his businesses slightly more successful because he's a failed businessman, and the only reason why he's not in ruins living in a ditch is because his father was that wealthy, and offered and afforded that much extra opportunities that he has lots of businesses he can bankrupt, um, before hitting the gutter. Now, somehow, this joke of a TV personality, this joke of a political mind, clearly biased and racist man, made it somehow to being president. Now, I don't care what your political views are for a second. Let's dismiss that for just a moment. Who is okay with the president of the United States, the president of the United States,
Yes.
taking his time out of his day to create that picture of himself like he's a kid and then tweeting it out
Exactly.
to social media? Who is okay with that? Who's okay with your president wanting to do that to himself? Like, and to be portrayed that way. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Just, this is worse. I mean, every day Trump makes himself worse and worse, but this is worse than the George W. Bush thing, reading the upside down book to the kids during 9/11. Like, this is worse. Like, this is like, because that was like a clownery moment with him holding the book's upside down, and it was the whole entire thing, everyone clowning him about that. Trump did this on purpose.
Right.
It was not a mistake. This is what Trump did on purpose. And people are still, please tell me one person stopped taking him seriously that does as a result of this. Like, he wishes he didn't look like that in his youth. That man has never had a muscle in his whole life. Get the hell out of here.
No, not at all.
Not one.
Not at all.
Oh my God. Whatever you proclaim, I'm down with it. I can't.
I
What is
proclaim
the ruling, Shar? What's your ruling?
the ruling is, this is my verdict,
Mm-hmm.
remove him from all social media platforms. He is not to
Yes.
have any more for the rest of his life.
Yes. I
That's it.
second that. I second that. That's it. The end. He should lose all privileges. Come on.
All of it.
Oh, bless his heart.
You get nothing.
Mm-mm.
We remove all your toys. That's it. No accounts
Mm-hmm.
for you.
Mm-hmm.
None for you.
No soup for you, sir. The
And
end.
that's my ruling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it is final.
If that was the applause, I don't know if y'all can hear it. That was me applauding in the background. Oh, where's the gavel? We don't get the gavel?
You don't get the gavel because,
Oh.
unfortunately, the poor thing, I didn't charge it up. I've been busy.
Okay, hold on. That was the gavel. Did y'all hear that? I tried.
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
we heard that.
Okay.
Thank you so much. See, I appreciate it. Just great. You're just great.
Right? I try to help where I can, you know? So
Thank you all for coming to the channel and supporting. Appreciate it. Shout out to those supporting the channel, which was, we had Woman of the Past from last week. She was a little late. Shout her out. And today we had DMV Nitro. Shout you out. Thank you for supporting the show. Appreciate you. Thank
mm,
you, everyone, for tuning in. We switched the time a little bit. We didn't think it was going to make a big difference, but it did as far as those who came in. So might just do the same thing next week. We'll see. But
mhm.
thank you so much. Same that maybe that same time, but definitely the same channel. Have a great
Exactly.
weekend, everyone. Peace.
Mhm. And make
Okay.
sure, ladies, stop being scared. We want you up here. Come and join. We're friendly. Shar only bites sometimes, and it's normally not hard. So just come and and jump on the panel. And you know what? At the very least, if y'all want to hear about something, there's a topic you want to hear about, or whatever, email Shar. You can email or message me. I can forward it along if you know me on my email address instead. But yeah, we love seeing y'all in the chat. Obviously, please come back, even if it's just in the chat. We will not poke at you too much about it, but come on up. We want to hear your voices too. We love y'all. All right.
Love
That.
you. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.